She was a dancer, a singer, a movie star, a spy, and a civil rights activist. This is the incredible, untold story of Josephine Baker, a woman who broke every rule and redefined what it meant to be a star. Born Frida Josephine McDonald in St. Louis, Missouri, in 1906, her childhood was far from glamorous. She grew up in poverty, experiencing the harsh realities of racial segregation firsthand. To help support her family, she started working at just 8 years old and dropped out of school at 12. But even then, a fire burned within her. She had a passion for performance, busking on street corners, honing the charisma that would one day captivate the world. By her teenage years, she was touring the United States with vaudeville troupes. She was a gifted comedic dancer, known for her energetic, rubber-legged style and her signature move of crossing her eyes at the end of a performance. She made it to Broadway, appearing in groundbreaking all-black productions like Shuffle Along, but she felt stifled. In the 1920s America, opportunities for black performers were severely limited. Josephine dreamt of more. She wanted to be the star, not just the comedic relief. In 1925, at the age of 19, she took a gamble that would change her life forever. She sailed to Paris. It was a revelation. Paris in the Roaring Twenties was a whirlwind of artistic and cultural freedom. Unlike the segregated United States, Paris celebrated black art and culture. Here, Josephine wasn't just accepted. She was adored. She became the star of La Revue Neger, a show that took the city by storm. Her performances were unlike anything Parisian audiences had ever seen, wild, energetic, and utterly free. She combined comedic timing with a powerful, raw sensuality. She became an overnight sensation, the embodiment of the jazz age. They called her the Black Venus and the Creole Goddess. She was the highest-paid entertainer in Europe, a muse for artists like Picasso and Ernest Hemingway, who called her the most sensational woman anyone ever saw. She even had a pet cheetah named Chiquita, who often joined her on stage. Josephine embraced her new home. She learned to speak French fluently, became a French citizen, and starred in successful films like Zuzu and Princess Tam Tam, becoming the first black woman to star in a major motion picture. She was a fashion icon, a recording artist, and a savvy businesswoman, launching her own line of beauty products. She had found the freedom and respect she had craved, but she never forgot where she came from. When World War II broke out and Germany occupied France, Josephine's life took another dramatic turn. She refused to perform for the Nazis. Instead, she chose to fight. She became a spy for the French resistance. Her fame was the perfect cover. She traveled across Europe, attending lavish parties hosted by high-ranking officials. She would charm them, gather intelligence about troop movements, and write it down in invisible ink on her sheet music. She smuggled secret messages across borders, hidden in her luggage and even in her underwear. It was incredibly dangerous work. If caught, she would have faced certain death. After the war, her bravery was recognized by the French government. She was awarded the Croix de Guerre and the Legion of Honor, France's highest military honors. General Charles de Gaulle personally thanked her for her service. She was a war hero. In the 1950s and 60s, Josephine turned her attention to another battle, the fight for civil rights in America. When she returned to tour the U.S., she was confronted with the same racism she had fled decades earlier. Hotels refused her service, as she was forced to enter through back doors. She refused to accept it. She insisted on integrated audiences for her shows, a clause she wrote into all her contracts. This policy helped desegregate venues and theaters across the country. She worked closely with the NAACP and became a powerful voice in the movement. In 1963, she stood beside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the March on Washington. She was the only official female speaker that day. Dressed in her Free French uniform, adorned with her medals, she addressed the crowd of over 250,000 people. She spoke of her life, of the freedom she found in France, and her dream of seeing that same freedom in her home country. It was a powerful, historic moment. In her personal life, Josephine dreamed of creating a family that would serve as a symbol of racial harmony. At her magnificent chateau in the French countryside, Les Milans, she adopted 12 children from all over the world, from Japan, Colombia, Finland, Algeria, and beyond. She called them her Rainbow Tribe. She wanted to prove that children of different races and religions could live together as brothers and sisters. It was a beautiful, radical experiment in love and tolerance. However, her grand vision was expensive. By the late 1960s, she faced financial ruin and lost her beloved chateau. But Josephine was a survivor. With the help of friends like Princess Grace of Monaco, she staged a spectacular comeback. Well into her late 60s, she was still performing to sold-out crowds, as dazzling as ever. In April 1975, she opened a new retrospective show in Paris, celebrating her 50 years in show business. The opening night was a triumphant success. The audience, filled with celebrities, gave her a standing ovation that lasted for minutes. Just a few days later, Josephine Baker passed away peacefully in her sleep. She was 68 years old. Her funeral was a national event in France. She was given a full military honors funeral, the first American woman to receive such a tribute. Thousands lined the streets of Paris to say goodbye to their adopted daughter, a true icon. In 2021, France bestowed upon her one of its greatest honors. Josephine Baker was inducted into the Pantheon, a mausoleum reserved for France's most revered national heroes. She is the first black woman, the first American-born citizen, and the first performing artist to be given this honor. Josephine Baker's life was more than a performance. It was a statement. She was a woman who fought for freedom on stage, in war, and for the rights of all people. She broke barriers of race, gender, and convention, leaving behind a legacy of courage, art, and activism that continues to inspire us today. She proved that one person, armed with talent and a fierce belief in humanity, can indeed change the world. Thank you for watching. If you were inspired by Josephine's story, please like this video and subscribe for more stories about incredible people who shaped our history.